I'm EZRAH, here to walk you through today's burning issues and the biggest stories. Committee on Women, Children, Family, and Gender Equality Chairman Senator Risa Ontiveros has renewed her call to pass the divorce bill, or the Dissolution of Marriage Act, also known as Senate Bill 147. The Philippines is one of the only two countries in the world, aside from the Vatican, that does not have a law on absolute divorce. House Bill 78 author Edsel Lagman stressed that divorce should only be for exceptional cases or those in an abusive or toxic relationships. Here to share her insights is Assistant Regional Public Attorney and the head of the Legal Research Service of the Public Attorney's Office, Attorney Joy Adraneda. Good afternoon and welcome to the Manila Times.
Good afternoon, Ms. Raya.
Yes, attorney, regarding the divorce bill. So it's been pushed for a while now, and I think we're one of the only two countries in the world who does not have a divorce bill yet. So tell us, attorney, what do we need to know? How different will the divorce bill be, or the Senate Bill number 147? Because as you said, there are a lot of divorce bills that has been filed already. So how different will divorce be from annulment, which is what we have now in the Philippines?
Actually, the perception of most of our Filipino countrymen is always think that we only have annulment, no? But actually, and legally speaking, we have three recourses under the law in actually not just dissolving marriages, but also severing marital ties. So we have Article 45 under the Family Code, that is the annulment, that is for the annulment of cases. Okay, and then we also have Article 35, 36, 37, 38 for the nullity of marriage, and Article 55 for legal separation. So itong mga batas na ito ay magkakaiba. And vis-a-vis the current divorce bill under the Senate, which is SB 147, I think the main difference is that in SB 147, it already recognizes yung ating Article 55 under the Family Code, which is legal separation, as probable ground for divorce. Okay? Meaning, ang diferensya na dati kasi yung ating legal separation would pertain to separation almensa et dolo or separation of bed and work. Meaning, wala naman talagang pag-dissolve na marriage on Article 55, but the law allows that the separation, the actual legal separation of both spouses, whereas their properties may be separated already, plus all other necessary consequences of marriage. This time, in Senate 147, as filed in Senate, can be a ground now to sever the marital tie. So meaning mawawala na ng visa ang kasal, subject to certain limitations. And I think as observed, no, yung doon sa ating legal separation, kaya dapat maliwanag yan. Ang very clear na mandato ng ating konstitusyon is to preserve the sanctity of family life and the marriage. However, we recognize as well yung pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan on these kinds of laws, lalo na we are faced in a very modern society na ito na yung kinahaharap na problem. So, yun. So we have to distinguish we are not just confined with annulment, but we have to distinguish. We have other recourses under the current laws to actually invalidate a marriage or nullify it. Okay? But then we also have that option where the couples or the spouses are only allowed to legally separate, but the mere marital ties remain. So this is covered now in the proposed Senate bill, where the legal separation can now amount to the complete dissolution of marriage.
So, attorney, what we all know, what most of us know is the annulment. So, ang kadalasang
Madam,
outcomes
malalaman.
dyan is lack of parental consent o yung mga underage. Tapos meron din yung psychological incapacity, pati nga din mo impotence, grounds din for annulment. So, ano po yung common grounds? Sinasabi niyo po ba yung divorce bill mas mapapadali yung proseso dahil separation is allowed even without grounds?
Sa kasaluyang batas, mahirap siya dahil petisyon siya na kailangan mong patunayan. Bagkus, no, if you would read carefully the Senate bill, petition pa rin siya. Here, sa kasalukuyang batas natin, walang sinasabi na ang matagal na paghihiwalay, okay, o hindi pagsasama ng mag-asawa ay magiging ground ng kanilang tuluyang paghihiwalay sa ilalim ng batas. Hindi siya ground. So either annulment under Article 45 na vitiation lang siya ng concern, no? May kung saan may fraud, kung saan may pagsisinungaling na maaring ma-cure within a prescripted period of time. Nullity, hindi rin siya under nullity of marriage under Article 36 of psychological incapacity. So sa makatwid, na bago ang pagtingin na ito, kung kung kunwari maipasa itong Senate Bill 178, tama ba? Tama ba? Ano yun? Senate Bill 147, nakaugnay, no? Kaya ako nabanggit yung 78 kasi meron yung House Bill 78 na parang similar to Senate Bill 147 na nag-a-allow this time ng matagal na paghihiwalay ng mag-asawa to be a ground for divorce. So, in effect, no, napapadali siya because this very crucial kumbaga na ground that is very existent among our kababayan. Yung talagang pinaka-prevalent na dahilan yung na-fall out of love, naghiwalay na lang for so long, hindi na nagkita, na-include na siya, which is never part of the current law. Albeit, no, in the current law, they use the psychological incapacity ground para ipalit doon sa matagal na hindi pagsasama dahil wala yung eksaktong dahilan na matagal na hindi nagsama to be the mitya or to be the point at where the marriage will be dissolved. But here in Article 36 or psychological incapacity, hindi to annulment. I have to be very clear on this. This is not a petition for annulment ground, but a petition for nullity ground, where the law would see that the marriage as if it never occurred. Because both of the parties or either of the party is unable to discharge the essential marital obligation. So meaning hindi sila hindi sila handa na paglingkuran yung kanilang asawa sa ilalim ng ating batas. Okay? Sa ilalim ng panuntunan ng ating batas kung saan in-expect that either spouse should be faithful, should give mutual love and support, etc. So kumbaga ito yung umbrella ground na ginagamit, no? Yung psychological incapacity. So I have to emphasize it. It's not annulment, but nullity of marriage.
Attorney, karamihan po sa atin pag sinabing naku maghihiwalay na, naku napakahirap ng annulment process. Ngayong itong divorce bill, mas mapapadali po ba ang proseso? At mas mura po ba ito?
Okay. Kasi kung babasahin mo Miss Raya, magkaiba pa rin yung proseso nung Senate Bill 178 saka 147 at saka House Bill 78. Sa House Bill 78 may summary proceeding. I think in that particular House Bill, mas mapapadali. Kasi may mga certain aspect siya na sinabi na pwede na to without necessity of a petition. But then, in both cases, both the Senate Bill 147 and House Bill 78, petition pa rin naman siya. Ang mapadali, I think, would be that part, that missing ground under the existing law was provided for in that law, in the proposed bills. Yun lang. Pero, here kasi, I think ang difference would be yung sa process, no? Kung dati kailangan mag-secure pa ng iba't ibang witnesses, okay? Kagaya ng expert witnesses, pagdating sa psychological incapacity, hindi man ito tinitingnan o biniview ng ating hukuman at batas as a sickness. But then, it is also good to present evidence with respect to the condition of the person, of either of the spouse, at the time of the celebration of their marriage, if they are ready to comply with their obligations. So, anong kailangan? Kailangan ng psychiatrist, although in a recent case, sinabi naman na hindi ito essential, pero at least these are helpful things, no? Pero in the proposed bills, mukhang binanggit na nila that the state may provide, okay, services of this sort, no? Special to indigent litigants. Napaka-importante nito. Bakit sinabi natin napadali o nakakatulong ito sa mga kababayan? Because there's already a clear provision on legal services and other essential services to obtain, no, yung invalidation of marriage pursuant to the proposed bills. So papadali siya kasi ito yung kumbaga nagiging balakid dun sa ating mga kababayan in pursuing petitions for nullity or annulment of marriage and in the present laws. Kasi ito magastos. So siguro yung paggawa ng mga Senate Bill at saka HB, pinag-aralan nila yung demographics, kung sino talaga yung nangangailangan ng solusyon na ito, no? Nung remedyo na ito under the law. And they saw, okay, that the majority na nangangailangan, wala rin kakayahan to commence the action.
Ma'am, what are the pros and cons of the divorce bill or Senate Bill number 147? Start po muna siguro tayo sa pros.
The pro. Well, this is a remedy that would be available to the public, no, in general. Kung saan, as we know, no, we have to take the fact, no, kasi nakita rin naman sa mga explanatory notes ng parehas na bill na ito ay pinag-aralan na at dumaan na sa kumbaga by statistics you are able to say that this is an existing problem of the Philippine society. So given na siya. Ang problema, while we have a current law, wala naman siyang proseso with regard to existing grounds na hindi nare-recognize. Example nga yung kaninang binanggit ko na ang tagal-tagal na nilang hindi magkasama, 20 years, 10 years, 15 years as the case may be, pero walang ganong exact ground under our laws para i-dissolve yung kanilang marriage, no? Because sabi ko nga, meron man tayong umbrella provision, may iba siya, iba yung definition niya under the law. Here, in both the proposed bills, nagbanggit sila nung particular ground na yun na very common sa ating mga kababayan. So that's the pro. Okay? Merong option. Yung isang pro yan, no? May option ng ating mga kababayan on that particular ground. Pangalawa, nagkaroon na rin ng provision, special dun sa SB 147, with regard to indigent litigants. Very important. That's very important. Not because I espouse this, no, dahil nasa Public Attorney's Office kami. Siyempre, this is not a reflection of the Public Attorney's Office opinion. Dahil kami dito sa PAO, iba-iba kami with regard to this. Kasi may mga kanya-kanyang opinion naman ng bawat tao. But in general, no, in just advocating for the right of every person, yung kanilang human right, at least nagkaroon ng option. Option is important for every citizen to have. Kasi, syempre, hindi mo naman pwedeng sabihin na nabigyan mo rin ng maayos na kinabukasan yung anak, okay? If in case hindi mo mapakasalan yung naging tatay niya because of this bottleneck, no? Dahil wala kang particular ground under the law to actually sever your marital tie. So, yun yung second pro. Pero ito, I have to go to the con that I think this is very common. Hindi lang siya personal to me, but maybe mas marami, no? Yung divorce is not easily accepted by all, no? We have to take into consideration yung magiging opinion ng iba't ibang sector sa ating lipunan. And yes, sabihin man natin that there is separation of church and the state, may malaking effect, okay, pa rin. At may malaki pa rin say yung religious concerns ng mga tao. So, while we do not accommodate that as a government entity, no, siguro, yung word na divorce, hindi pa, sensitive pa rin yung karamihan sa mga Pilipinong, lalo na yung mga relihiyoso about it. Certainly, there will be oppositions to that. Con siya kasi, syempre, advocacy pa rin. Kung meron sila, karapatan pa rin ng isang sector bilang, kunwari kahit religious sector siya, na mag-aklas, no, laban sa any proposed divorce bill. Lalo na sa mga tao nilang nasasakupan who would agree to their teachings, di ba? So, medyo bottleneck kasi affected din sila. At the same time, tingin ko din, yung ating batas sa ngayon is okay. Ang problema lang sa batas natin right now is yung procedure. Siguro, you can only change the procedure and at the same time, add on yung certain grounds provided for in the proposed bills to answer or to respond to the current needs of the people with regard to the law. Kasi yun yung sinasabi ko sa'yo, sinagot ito ng mga proposed bills yung gap ng kasalukuyang batas. But if it won't be acceptable because divorce is still parang unacceptable to most sectors that may rally against it, then perhaps to merge both worlds, kumbaga, both ideologies, why not just amend the current laws and include the grounds or the ground na included ngayon sa divorce bills, and at the same time install an administrative mechanism to expedite processes.
Ma'am, doon sa when the Senate tried to push for this divorce bill or
Uh,
147, they emphasize those people who are actually suffering in their marriage, like victims of
yes.
and those in toxic relationships. So can we expect once this has been approved, if the divorce bill will be passed into law, can we expect a huge influx of divorces once the bill has been approved?
Sabi ko nga sa'yo, current problem na ng ating lipunan. And I think, maski yung PAO, we would always receive queries about dissolution of marriage or problems about marital problems. Na paano ba sila maghihiwalay? Yes, definitely. I think the court will be, kumbaga, faced with an influx of cases relating to this. Kasi ngayon, meron na siya eh. But hampered by the existing grounds, kasi sabi ko very limited. Although sufficient siya in a way, siguro dapat lang i-amend yung mga bahagi ng batas kasi akong nakita na maganda naman yung pinoint out nung lalo na yung Senate Bill 147, I think di nabanggit sa HB 78, yung hindi nagawing grounds for legal separation of homosexuality unless nagkaroon ng infidelity. So may mga ganun silang twist, no? I think magkakaroon ng influx kasi lalo na kung pag napag-join tong dalawang bills na to and then nagkaroon ng summary proceeding, yes, it will. Pero I think yung courts also would have to devise a way. Kasi this is still different, no? Kung nabasa ko, a petition should still be filed. And a petition is still litigious in nature. Petition is the same process essentially as of what it is today, kahit binigyan niya ng additional ground. So kung ma-face yung court ng influx of cases, then we have to consider having an administrative process as in Japan, diba? I think meron silang administrative form of divorce. So this also matter. Although parang wala akong nakitang ganung mekanismo on the SB 148, pero sa 147, pero sa HB 78, may nakita ako na certain processes that would be allowed to be subject to summary proceedings. Lalo na yung cases that involves violence. Okay, I think meron siya doon. Na I think maganda naman because syempre, automatic naman dapat kung ikay naging biktima ng labis na pang-aabuso ng iyong asawa physically, dapat mas madali nang makipaghiwalay kasi there's no reason to stay in the relationship, no? Civilly speaking. Ayun.
How common would you say are these marital disputes?
Very, very common. Although I have to be very clear on this. Query lang talaga sila umaabot as of the moment. They will ask, ano pa yung remedyo namin under the law paano ba kami maghihiwalay ng mabilis? Okay, that's the first question. Or matagal na kami hiwalay, pwede na ba ako magpakasal ulit? So may thinking yung ating mga kababayan na pag naghiwalay sila for so long a period of time, like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, pwede na sila magpakasal. When I can give you statistics based on sa research lang sa research, pag sinabi nating research, yun yung aming counseling services na nagsusulat sa amin, probably 5 out of 10 merong talagang nagtatanong about it, to sometimes 7 out of 10. So but certainly ngayon medyo nag-lie low kasi meron na sumabay na ibang concerns ng kababayan natin. Pero before, I think it's more around 5 to 7 out of 10 letters you will receive. They will ask about how can their marital relationship be dissolved legally and quickly.
Lastly, sinabi niyo na po na mas mapapadali ang proseso once the divorce bill has been approved. Ito naman po, will it be cheaper or more expensive to get divorced?
Well, in the public attorney's office kasi, wala kaming bayad, no? So, I think walang problema sa akin yun. But, okay, with regard to how much, lalo na sa private lawyers on accepting these cases, no? Law of supply and demand to, unless masaset yung procedure on the filing fees, masaset yung procedure on the amount of the fees that the lawyers will receive in handling these cases, ewan ko lang, no, kung bababa siya. Although, sabi ko nga kanina, this is very particular and very clear to me, in the SB 147, naglagay siya ng provision for indigent litigants. It could be the recognition na marami rin sa ating mga kababayang maralita are in need of this remedy. So at this point, we will expect na marami mag-apply for the free service. Okay? Marami will expect for the de officio services of a lawyer. Kasi nakalagay doon, the court will assign de officio. So whether or not we will have sufficient lawyers to address the situation is a different matter. I think the court would have to address that. The Supreme Court would need to answer for that particular part. Kasi kung it is a public attorney's office, that's our mandate already. Wala nang problema for as long as pumasayan sa merit and indigency namin. That's free, no? But with regard to the filing fees and the setting the same, and ang may jurisdiction yan, Supreme Court. With regard to the amount of lawyers' fees that the professionals will accept, or pati mga psychologists natin, that is dependent on their associations, okay, and their regulatory commissions or regulatory bodies. Kasi may law of supply and demand. So pag nagkaroon ng additional ground, and that ground is whacked dun sa experience or sa current situation ng isang mag-asawa, would make it easier, of course, baka mas mataas yung singilin nila. That's something I cannot answer.
So would you say it's more or less the same, as the
More or less. Yes, more or less.
cost, more or less the same as an annulment?
Yes. Things will really change if this would become administrative in nature. Meaning yung hindi na kailangan dumaan masyado sa court. Kasi as I was reading it, I think yung sa HB 78, sabi niya, it will copy, or it will just be parang it agrees to the current remedy of filing a petition. Okay? So parehas pa rin, it's still petition. Sabi ko nga, nag-differ lang sa grounds. Although I agree with the additional grounds, no? Yun lang, yung petition pa rin. So same pa rin yung process for me. It will still be filed before the family courts which are already handling the current cases on nullity and annulment of marriages, and even legal separation, and other cases relating to family. So parang walang nagbago. Although, dun nga sa House Bill 78, meron siyang sinasabing summary proceeding. So in which case, hindi siya necessarily yung long kind of petition kasi meron na siyang clear ground na maghiwalay. Still, it is subject to judicial intervention. So it will again clog the courts. So kung hindi naman magbabago yung number ng ating courts, so it's the same courts who will receive the same number of cases. Albeit, additionally, because na-respond po na yung grounds na kailangan ng ating mga kababayan.
Thank you so much for that, Attorney Joy Adraneda of the Legal Research Service of the Public Attorney's Office. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time.